Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, your hostess for the evening, and I have huge pleasure in welcoming our guest for the evening, Ildiko Scurr. I'm going to say hello to Ildiko first, and then I will introduce her to us all. Evening, Ildiko, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Sarah, and I'm delighted to be here. Very honoured, thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let me introduce Ildiko to you. She's going to be talking to us about life retuning this evening. And Ildiko Scurr is the founder of this self-empowerment system called Life Retuning. Life retuning is where quantum physics meets ancient metaphysics in a system using energetic information to remove mental blocks, self-sabotaging behavior, and distressing emotions. She describes it as quantum wizardry for this age. She is a master of energy who has been in private practice for over 10 years and set up the Life Retuning Academy, which serves to offer global certificated training to qualify others in her system. Ildiko gives regular talks, writes articles, and is a guest author of several books. She is passionate about facilitating others to access their own truth and inner resources. Her mission is to play her part in relieving human suffering and raising the energy frequencies of global consciousness. So for those of you who haven't experienced being here before and experiencing Ildiko's lovely reminding exercise that she shared with us a few weeks ago, welcome. And welcome to Ildiko, and thank you. And we have several people already saying hi online. But Ildiko, welcome.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Lovely to be here.
Good. Well, just very briefly, we have Carol saying so excited. Sylvia saying hello, Ildiko and Sarah, in USA. Blair from California. So we have it, and we've got more than that, but those three people have shared that they're here. Anybody else who wishes to share that they're here? Anybody has any questions for Ildiko during this? Please do share them. We love to hear from you. This is as much for you as it is for us sharing. And Ildiko can then answer your questions, not necessarily mine. Ildiko, share a little about your story for us, please.
Okay, Sarah. Well, it goes back to about 20 years ago when I was, to be frank, leading a very unconscious life where I wasn't really aware of what I was doing to my health and my happiness. But every day I was really damaging it quite severely, to the point where I ended up with something having to give, and what gave really was my sanity and my health, because one day I just went into this state of complete panic, and really I stayed there for the next 6-7 years. It was a really horrible time, Sarah, because I ended up with what I now term as a nervous breakdown, although nobody could actually tell me what was happening to me, and it was very, very terrifying. When everything just starts flowing out of your hands like sand, everything you thought you ever knew, that solidity, that stability just is flowing away every day more and more. So that was the beginning really of why I had to find some solution for my own issues.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can relate to some of that.
I'm sure many people can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think really it is helping people to understand that sometimes when everything feels to be falling apart, actually it's falling together. But that's not how it feels at the time.
It doesn't feel like that at the time, Sarah. And really, you know, it was such a wake-up call for me. My diet was wrong. I was in a unsatisfying and wrong relationship. Where I was working was wrong. The place I was living was wrong. I mean, there was nothing. There was no spiritual dimension to my life. Everything was. It was almost like I was completely sabotaging my happiness and my health. And I see this showing up in clients day after day. So I really understand what other people are going through because I lived it, and it was not pleasant. It was not a nice experience at all. So really that's what led to me looking at stopping the pain, Sarah, to be honest. That was the key thing. And I think, you know, pain is the biggest motivator for us. And so I started looking originally at the orthodox ways. So I went to my doctor. I tried to, you know, take medication. None of that worked. And then gradually I started looking further and further afield at the more esoteric ways of help and healing. And I ended up qualifying in aromatherapy, in Reiki, Indian head massage. I tried shiatsu. I tried lots and lots of different pathways to help me out of that black hole that I was in. But unfortunately, none of those worked very successfully at all. So it just led me more and more into more way out type of therapies. At the time, that was my mindset because it was all very brand new to me. So I hadn't heard of things like shamanism and zero balancing, and I looked more and more at these kind of techniques. Eventually I was led to something called thought field therapy, and I remember at the time reading this article, a tiny little article in a local paper, of a therapist claiming that by tapping on various points of the body you can actually switch off deep held anxiety and fear. And I thought, okay, so this is really sounding very woo-woo to me. I've spent 6-7 years in this horrible state. Don't tell me that tapping on a part of my body is going to switch off that anxiety. But as it happened, I was feeling very, very bad. So, you know, you grab at anything that comes along. And I went along to this particular therapist and found that after the first session, I could speak about things that had terrified me to even voice, because I felt that if I voiced it, I would go into a panic attack about it. So there was already a loosening up of the anxiety and the stress state. And I kept at it for a few sessions and found that my life suddenly started showing some chinks of hope coming in. And that was the most amazing eureka moment, to rediscover the light after all that darkness. And so that was really the beginning, because I learned those techniques quite rapidly. I qualified and started working with other people, helping them out of pain. But I found that that worked for about 6 years, and then I started asking questions about things that thoughtful therapy were not actually covering. So that's really my journey up to the point when I started looking at how to develop life retuning.
So that's how you got started with getting to the life retuning. It was through everything else you'd done, and then the thought field therapy.
Yeah. It was a jump off point. Yeah.
And so, and how's the thought field therapy, not the thought field therapy, but the change from the thought field therapy to life retuning, and what you've developed with life retuning helped you?
It's helped me in various ways. I have found that I've managed to take off, almost like a cloak, a lot of programmed behavior that came from my childhood, from society, from experiences that I'd had, and my mind had decided on certain points of view, if you like. But it's also led to me being able to take the ceiling off my potentiality, because whenever I want to achieve something, I can look at that situation, and if there's anything that is blocking me, I can very rapidly disassociate myself and untangle myself from that, leaving me free to make those leaps out a lot of the time outside of my comfort zone, but I'm okay with it. So it's actually empowered me and empowers me every day dramatically to be able to run my life the way I want to run it.
And therefore empowering you to achieve so much more than the living in that box with all those barriers, those closed doors, those whatever terminology people want to put on it.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I look at it is that I stepped out of an ordinary life into an extraordinary existence, because really the way that my life runs now, knowing about energy and using energy in a very proactive way, I can actually navigate channels of my life that were closed off to me before, and I could not even imagine the kind of things that I'm doing now. And yet I'm doing them, and I'm going to be doing more every day, expanding out more and more. And there are no parameters now to what I'm doing, because every time something comes up, I know that the retuning can actually free me up from that. So it's a very exciting life to live.
But life is exciting if only we let ourselves live it.
Absolutely. But at one time, if you'd said that to me, I would have said life is pain. Life is, shut down, and that was a completely different place to be in. So I'm a very, very different person, having developed these techniques and using them every day.
Excellent. So a little history of the technique of how you developed it and the way it is now.
Yeah, sure. Well, starting with the thought field therapy. Thought field therapy works with issues in the moment. The thought needs to be tuned in or thought about, and then that's how it works. Now, with the Life Retuning, I took it into the arena of the aura, the auric landscape. So I started exploring possibly where we're actually holding and archiving a lot of these experiences. So I started looking outside but into the energy field, and doing some experiments on myself, consciousness experiments, to see if I could find patterns. We've just been having a conversation this evening about patterns, and here it comes again. But patterns are what I found were holding the whole thing together. If you can track and see a pattern showing up, then you can see what is actually taking place with a particular situation. So one of the things that Life Retuning taught me was to watch for patterns. Now that translates into patterns of energy, but it was a very particular way of looking at things. So I started with that point, and I used my aura, if you like, as my own personal laboratory, my consciousness laboratory. But I started looking at how to work outside of the level of just working with conscious thought and taking it into unconscious and even superconscious thought, which is where we hold our past life memories. And in fact, as we know, synchronicity, how it takes place, I attracted to myself a situation where I was faced with the choice of having a past life regression. Now, I'd always held out against it, because whenever I'd read anything about it, everybody was always either Cleopatra or Napoleon or some famous person, and I thought, this is ridiculous. It can't be true. And also I was brought up as a Roman Catholic, so obviously that added to it too. So I was not prepared to go into that realm at all. However, one day I was given, as they say in the Matrix, the choice of the blue or the red pill, and I took the one which reconnected me with a past life, and it was an extraordinary experience. But one of the things that happened was a very traumatic memory surfaced from the superconscious into my conscious mind and sat there in a very traumatic way. And the question I asked myself was, how do I get out of this? How do I get this out of my head? And that's when I was forced by the universe, in a nice way, to investigate how I bring in the whole past life arena into the Life Retuning work. And the more I opened to it, the more the information was coming in. So that became incorporated into the Life Retuning protocol. And the other big area was the chakras, because as I started investigating and monitoring what was happening with the chakras when I was doing the Life Retuning, I found that, for instance, one very important thing is that they seem to lock down in defense. When something is coming in energetically into our system and it's not harmonious, our chakras will react, and they will react instantly. And they also hold the energy of traumatic events, but vibrating at a particular frequency. So more and more I was pulling in these strands from disparate areas, and it was starting to form into a protocol of categories and a particular way of working with emotions, self-limiting beliefs, our whole belief system, and on different levels. So that's one of the big differences, is that with Life Retuning, you don't have to stay in the conscious mind. You can go into the unconscious or the superconscious, and the superconscious and the unconscious. And the tracking system I developed means that the energy field reveals the information that's needed in order to heal with something that is going on in the current moment. So that's really how it's actually developed, and the parts came together.
It's brilliant. It's fascinating. So how has the technique changed over the years? Because obviously this isn't something that you developed 5 minutes ago. You've been working with this for a while.
Absolutely, for years. Yeah, really, it's been around as a system for 7 years now. But over the years, there have been changes. The chakras, if I go back to them, they became a very integral part of the whole Life Retuning treatment system, because I discovered something fascinating. You know that the chakras all vibrate with particular colours, and colour is frequency. So what I discovered was that our perception of a colour changes with the health of our chakra. So if our chakra is locked, we may perceive a colour to be too dull or too bright because it's out of harmonic balance. And what I discovered is that I could put together a system of a very, very rapid way of identifying which chakras are out of harmony by getting people to look at the colours. So from that, I'd be able to tell very quickly what is going on, possibly with a theme or an issue, because all of the chakras vibrate with different themes of our lives, and it's very, very accurate. So this discovery, after working with many, many clients, became incorporated into the whole system. And in fact, that's the first port of call for me when I'm working with a client, is that I will actually do this chakra color test with them. And very quickly we identify issues that maybe the person is not even aware of, that the energy field is brought up to be treated, because it's key. It's very important to get rid of it at that moment. So the chakras came in a very, very big way. The other area is coming back to the past life stuff. I actually built a system which I call soul heritage. And soul heritage is the experiences that our soul has been through. So it takes it much wider than just this lifetime. And the soul heritage contains 4 categories. Past life traumas, identifying who are the members of our soul group families, because we all belong to a soul group family, and those souls incarnate with us from lifetime to lifetime, often as family members. But it's complex, but it's possible to identify who those soul members are who are incarnated in this lifetime with us. Following on from that, what we chose to teach and learn from those soul group members, because we can be hunting around confused in the dark, saying, why does my brother always behave like that towards me, and why do I react that way? Well, when you uncover the truth of what the soul contract is with that soul, you understand suddenly with a clarity of what you're here to teach them and what you're supposed to be learning from them. And it's a massive opening of understanding on a very, very different, wider stage. So that's part of the soul heritage package. And the other part is to deal with past life vows, because I know many people have watched The Secret. It became very, very big, and you know, everybody was doing the whole abundance and manifestation thing. But if you are holding 9 vows of poverty in your energy field, how are you going to attract in the abundance? You can't. There it is. Sorry, but there it is. So what I do is I identify if there's any redundant past life vows also embedded in the energy field, and I have a very particular protocol for releasing those vows and then replacing them with a much more healthful and helpful set of vows for this lifetime and future lifetimes. So that's the whole soul heritage package, which again I do with clients. I also offer something called an Akashic record reading, where I'm not doing anything with the life retuning, but I am revealing the soul database, if you like, for the person, which people find very, very helpful. And the other thing that I have got into when we talk about manifestation, I've developed a way of finding the percentage of probability of something happening, finding where it is in the aura, how close it is into the physical manifestation, and then tweaking it so that it actually is pulled into the physical body from wherever it is in the aura. So those are the main things that I've actually developed and have come along with the life retuning over the last couple of years.
Amazing. So it's a couple of examples of how it's helped different people.
Sure. Well, I have 2 people. One of them is on this call, and I know he's listening at the moment. But he sent me a testimonial. He's actually done a video testimonial as well. I was going to say, Sarah, and to the listeners, that if you go onto my webpage, which Sarah is going to broadcast, there are 3 fantastic video testimonials from people who have been so completely honest about what life retuning has done to turn their lives around. So please do go and visit. So I'd like to read just a little bit out from Blair Sherwood's testimonial. He was actually diagnosed with PTSD and chronic depression, and had been suffering from that really from mid-20s onwards, and probably even younger than that. And so you can imagine what a stuck state that is, and I'm sure lots of people out there identify with this, including myself to a certain point. He says that he would have full-blown episodes of the depression, and he wouldn't be able to move, work, eat or sleep for weeks at a time, and it was starting to happen a few times a year. So, you know, having a son as well made it very difficult for him to function on a daily basis. And he says in his testimonial that he had semi-recovered from a month-long battle with one of these particular episodes, and then had his first session of life retuning. And it's played a key role in his healing. He's proactive on his own spiritual path, but the life retuning has freed him up from those depressive episodes, along with what else he's doing in his life. He was also addicted to tobacco, and we freed him up from that, so he doesn't even think about tobacco now. It used to be a big addiction that he couldn't get out of, and now he's completely free of it. So Blair, I'd like to say thank you for sharing this and allowing me to share with the viewers today. The other client was completely addicted to sugar. Again, she's in the States, and she couldn't leave her cake or pie after a meal. She would immediately dive in, and she was finding that it was getting to be a real problem, sugar addiction. Well, last year, when Thanksgiving came round, after having had one session of life retuning and a particular technique that I'd given to her to do herself, She couldn't even have a second spoonful of her mum's delicious chocolate cake, which amazed her family because she was known as the dessert girl. So she just didn't want the next bite. And since then, she's been freed from that very destructive control of the sugar. The other testimonials on there, there's a very destructive relationship that one client was struggling with that I helped to free her up from, and again she's got an amazing testimonial on there, so that's from Brooke. And there's also a testimonial about a lady who had a very negative comment told to her about her work. She's a photographer, and it completely destroyed her self-confidence to the point where she couldn't really work as a freelance photographer anymore. She had one session of Life Retuning and it completely restored things for her. So these are the kind of things I deal with on a daily basis. But please do, you know, don't just hear it from me. Please do go and listen to these people, because they've shared their stories, and I think it's wonderful that they have actually done that for us.
Thank you to them for letting you share.
Absolutely.
Information about the technique. What can people expect during a session?
Okay, well, I always say that Life Retuning is the laziest way of getting treatment. And why do I say that? Because you don't even have to engage your logical mind. What happens is that you come and you sit down at a session, and you brought your energy field with you. Your aura is an integral part of you, and you brought it, and really and truly your aura is the client. You're just the vehicle for bringing the aura to me. Now the aura has already been prepped. As soon as you commit to come for a session or on Skype, your aura has already started throwing up the things it's ready to dump out. So when you sit down for a session, I don't really have to do much apart from start communicating with your aura to say, hey, what's up? What do you want to get rid of today? And the aura, in a very obliging way, just starts revealing it one after another. As for you as a physical body, you just sit in a nice comfy chair. I might get you to tap in a few places occasionally. I'll tell you what the thread is of various things that have happened to you. And when I talk about the current problem, which is, say, an anxiety, I actually track to find out all the times in your life where your mind has decided that that is going to be a problem. And then we actually retune those past experiences. It's very accurate because your energy field is a database of information, energetic information. And so that information is available always for me to be able to find, and it will reveal itself exactly as a database. If you put in a search stream onto your Excel spreadsheet because you wanted all the names with A's to come up, you'd get a whole list, right? It's exactly the same with the energy field, the way I work with the Life Retuning. So all is revealed. It's like a GPS tracking system. And so connections can be made. Sometimes you will remember things specifically you haven't thought about for years, but as soon as I mention them, you suddenly know, ah, yes, now I remember what happened then. And it's always relevant to the current problem. So a Life Retuning session works this way. And I carry on going until I have worked on and retuned everything that your aura has brought to me to deal with on that day.
Great, thank you. I'm sure that has been enlightening to people, because
I hope so.
It's always good to know what to expect. I mean, because so many people can't tell you what to expect, but it's great when people can. I know Blair's asked a question, and I am going to come to that, Blair, but I think because of the time, you've got a short demonstration you're going to share with us.
I have, so, absolutely.
If we could go into that, that would be lovely.
Absolutely. So has everybody got pen and paper? Did we?
I forgot to mention that, yeah.
Okay. Has everybody out there got a piece of paper and a pen, please? Or you can write it on your hand, I suppose. Okay, so I'll just wait for a couple of seconds. So while you're getting that, folks, I'm just going to explain what I'm going to do with you, something very short today, because obviously we haven't got time to really do an awful lot. But this hopefully will demonstrate to you how your mind's perception can change within a very short space of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with you with a self-limiting belief. Now, the problem with self-limiting beliefs is that what we believe is what we perceive. We create our own realities. And believe you me, the mind needs to have a confirmation that what it believes it will actually see in reality. So if you're carrying something like, I don't deserve to be happy, eek, because you're going to be creating situations that will be confirming that back to you. Not good. We need to get rid of those. We need to get shot of those. So this evening, I'd like you to pick a self-limiting belief, something that you doubt about yourself or your situation. So that could be something like, as I say, I don't believe I deserve to be happy. You probably won't pick that one because your mind will probably block you from that, from actually recognizing that one. But I can't do something, or I'm not good enough at doing something, something that's blocking you, okay? And what I'd like you to do is right now, write down that belief. So I believe that whatever it is, I'll just give you a couple of moments to write that down. Fantastic. And once you've written it, can you please fold that piece of paper up and put it away from you so you can't see what you've written. And now I'm going to take you through a set of psychological reversal correction statements. These are not, repeat, not affirmations. What they do is make sure that your energy field is in a positive polarity state, not a negative lockdown state, so we can shift time to explain what I'm doing here. Just go with me. Okay, so the first statement is, I want to be over this. And I'd like you all to tap the side of your hands. I'm going to show you 3 tapping points. So this is the first one, I want to be over this. Great. The next one, can you find your collarbone on the left hand side and pull straight down and say, I want to be completely over this. Okay, that's fantastic. The next one is, I will be over this, and I'd like you to tap under your nose. Okay. The next one is, I will be completely over this. Tap under your nose. Okay. I want to be even better. Tap the side of your hand. I will be even better. Tap under your noses. Okay. I deserve to be over this. Tap the side of your hand. Keep tapping and say, others deserve for me to be over this. Perfect. Say, I forgive myself for this. Keep tapping the side of your hand. I forgive others for this. Keep tapping the side of your hand. It's safe to be over this. Same place, side of the hand. It's time to be over this. Side of the hand. And now say, all chakras balanced, and tap the side of your hand. Okay. And now stop. Right. Now, here's the challenge. How many of you can remember what that self-limiting belief was without looking at the paper? So I'd quite like to actually have you mark whether you, yes or no, whether you can remember it or can't. And I'm going to take just a couple of moments for you to try and remember that self-limiting belief.
While people are trying to remember,
yep.
Okay, we've had Janet say that she's here. Karen is here. Hi. Paris. Dawn's here. Dawn's someone that actually she did the meditation last week.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely to have everybody here.
Welcome. Sylvia says, fascinating. Thank you for sharing. Lynn Robertson, thank you so much, Ildi, for all the helpful information. Deeply grateful. Blair, I haven't forgotten your question. We will come to that.
Oh, fascinated.
So,
okay.
So Sylvia's just gone yes. So folks, please do share. Okay.
So
right.
If you can remember it, send yes. If you can't remember it, send no.
Yeah.
Put an exclamation mark with it. You're allowed.
Well, bless them. Sylvia, Jenny and Blair have all said yes.
Thanks, folks. Thanks for supporting me. Love you all. Okay, so obviously it's important to mention this is a quick demonstration. In a session, we would go much deeper, and I would be checking, because what we're doing here is I'm getting you to troubleshoot without me checking into your energy fields. Okay, so what we're doing here is trying to change the perception of whether we can or can't still see ourselves doing something or not doing something. Okay, so those of you who can't remember, do have a look at that piece of paper, and if you read that self-limiting belief again, just see whether it feels as true as it did before you did the exercise with me.
We've got a couple of other comments because, as I said, the three of them said yes. Then we've got Leslie said yes, but it took a while. Lynn Robertson said yes. Carol, thank you, I feel great. Blair, I've had lots of practice.
Yes, you have.
Angela,
practice some more after.
and Angela said yes, but I had to think about it.
Yeah. So what you can see here is that already your energy and your mind is changing with a very, very few little techniques. Okay, imagine what can happen in a whole hour session, right? So that's all we got time for today that I could share, because I could do a lot more, but not in this arena with this. So you know, so yeah, well, it's very important to get those self-limiting beliefs sorted. So, as I say, it's an integral part of what I actually do within a life retuning session.
Excellent. Well, just briefly, we've also had Jenny say doesn't ring as true. So as much as she said remembers, but she said it doesn't ring as true.
Wonderful, Jenny. That's great.
Folks, if you've got any questions for Ildiko, please will you put those up now, and I'm now going to scroll back down the list and I'm going to find Blair's question.
Okay.
It's great because we had lots of people sort of letting us know that they're here and sort of whatever. So Blair's question, Ildiko, how are these issues, soul contracts and vows found in the energy field?
Okay, Blair, well, it's a great question, and the answer to that is that the same questioning technique is used, but just focusing on asking about, or rather making statements about vows, and they will either exist or they won't exist. It's the same with any experience. If there is data that exists of an experience, then it will show up. If there isn't and it never happened, it won't show. So it's that very, very simple yes, no. Again, it's exactly the same. Does that answer your question?
Well, hopefully it'll answer Blair's question.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, because he's done the work with you.
Absolutely,
okay.
yeah.
Blair has commented in respect of the yes, no. It does feel, it doesn't feel as true.
Great. Good, thanks.
And Angela's just put, I must say, though, that Ildiko is brill. I've had 2 sessions with her.
Oh, thank you, Angela. Bless you.
Okay, so folks, if you've got any other questions, please pop those up now, because we are sort of coming towards the end of our program for this evening. So yeah, if there's any questions, we'd obviously like to answer those for you.
Absolutely, take the opportunity.
Yeah, so to please do take the opportunity. Ildiko, you said that you have got, we might as well do this now if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely.
An offer for folks that you wanted to
Yes, that's right. I have got an offer. For the first 10 people who email me with the code, what is the code, Sarah?
Right, I'm asking it to display the sticky and it won't display it. Oh, display sticky, that's it. Okay. The code, ready to change with LR.
That's the one, ready to change with LR. The first 10 people to email me with that code and say they would like a free half-an-hour life retuning session will get one. So it's the first 10 people on this call. Okay, so that's my offer. There's also another thing I'm sharing as a bonus for everybody who's come on to this call, and that is the first part of an e-guide that is a 6-parter, and that's about how to use your personal energy to live a much more fulfilled life. So that's a PDF that I'm sharing. You can download it from my website, and then please subscribe to the other parts that will be coming out over the next few weeks. So I hope you enjoy that as well.
Right, well, I'm not sure what's happened where this pop-in is meant to be for display the offer, but oh, okay, right, it looks as if, right, folks, whatever happens, the link to this is in the replay email.
Great, so, okay, and maybe we could put it up onto the video, the YouTube video as well, the replay,
yes,
so people have got it.
So you will get it. I am going to go back to the chat, but hopefully folks have been able to see that. But if not, don't worry about it. Just take note of the first little offer on the little post-it I've put up, the admin notice. There is Ildiko's email address and ready to change with LR. That's how you can get your one of the 10 30-minute sessions.
That's right.
Right. We've got a couple of, so I don't know what's happening with that. I love technology.
So do I.
Right, Blair has come back. No, do you get a yes or no answer? So it's back to his question that he asked you.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. And I know what you're asking, but yeah, it's the same thing that you already know, that you have studied. It's absolutely the yes, no. It comes back down to that. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Well, I hope we'll hopefully sort of right. Carol says the techniques that you've just used. Can you write that technique down, perhaps, on your website?
Yes, Carol. Absolutely, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you let me have that, then what we'll do is we'll put it on the Gift of Healing Facebook page for folks as well.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes, we did as we did before. Right. Dawn has said yes, but much stronger about the limit.
Okay.
Stronger. Okay, fine.
So Dawn, I would say something is coming up for you from your energy field then that is setting up what we call sympathetic resonance. So whatever's happening with you now, there's a resonance to the emotion that you're feeling. That is probably kick-starting something in your aura that is a similar experience, similar vibration, and what you get is sympathetic resonance. The two amplify on the same level. So I would say, if you get in as soon as you possibly can to send me an email, and you can have a half-an-hour retune, we can actually address that issue for you and free you up from it. Okay?
And Sylvia says, thank you so much. Really enjoyed hearing about Ildiko's work. So grateful. Many blessings.
Oh, bless you, Sylvia. Blessings to you too. Thank you.
And what we are going to do, folks, in the replay email, you will receive also the links to Ildiko's websites so that you can go and investigate further there. So, yeah, there's no need to miss out on that. Ildiko, just very briefly, so we don't run over too much, what's coming up for you? Is there anything coming up that you're really excited about at the moment?
Well, thanks for asking, Sarah. My excitement comes from the fact that I am really focusing on taking Life Retuning into the States and also Australia, because there's been a lot of interest, and I am just so thrilled to be investigating that avenue of connecting with amazing people out there, and I know that obviously we've got a contingent here that are from the States, and thank you so much for coming onto this call, and that's really exciting, because I'm looking at where I can get the message across for people out there. so that's great, and also getting students for the course, because I really would like global coverage, life retuning practitioners in all communities, so that they can be serving their communities and helping people out of their pain. So that's my vision for life retuning. And the other thing to share is I'm writing a book called The Wish Wagon, which is a book for men, actually, and it's using the life retuning ethos as a guidance for everyday life, how to deal with everyday life issues. And I think that the guys are not very well provided out there with that kind of thing, and I was very much drawn to do that. So I'm in the process of writing that book, and I hope in the next year it will actually be available and published. So that's very exciting, again, a very exciting project. I'm looking to expand the Life Retuning Academy globally. It's a hub site. It's there's an actual website address, which is liferetuningacademy.org. You can also share that. I'm looking to expand the membership. I'm looking to expand the workshops I'm offering, business support workshops, but also advanced techniques workshops for my practitioners. All sorts of tools as well for practitioners to be able to set up their practices very, very rapidly with all the stationery and all the other things. So that's a big project that I reckon the next 6 months probably to get all done, but that is going ahead. And on the last point, on a personal point, I have set up a band called Ruby Blue, in which I sing. I also play guitar, which I'm not playing with the band at the moment, but I'm singing, and they're my own songs. And I'm very excited because we're developing those songs at the moment, and I hope to be able to, for us to have a gig in the next maybe half a year, certainly a year. So watch out for Ruby Blue, because we do transcendental blues. So that's very, very exciting as well on a different level.
So lots coming up for you. Lots coming up for you. We've
Definitely.
got a few more comments. Okay. So Lynn Robertson has said, "Thank you so much for the kind gifts, Ildi. So kind of you. Really enjoyed hearing all you have shared with us. Thank you. Love, much love." Blair has said, "I meant to write how." Now I'm assuming, I'm going back to Blair's. Oh, no, not now. I'm assuming is how. Who do you get to say? Oh, how do you get a yes, no?
Oh, okay, right.
Okay,
that changes things.
Yes, absolutely.
I am not sharing trade secrets. You'll have to wait. You'll get your answer, but you'll have to wait, because Blair, I'll just share with you. Blair is he's done the course, and so he understands these techniques, and yeah, I know exactly what he's asking, but yeah, it's don't worry, you will get your answer.
Excellent. And then we've got Carol said, Carol said, "Thank you both so much for today. Thank you to Ildiko for sharing. Much love, Carol." Jay says, "Thank you, Ildiko and Sarah." Karen says, "Thank you very much for everything you have shared. Much appreciated." Anne, and she is an amazing teacher. Totally recommend to all those in the USA.
Thank you.
I was going to say Terry. Sorry, it's Dawn. "Gosh, what a lifeline! So needed. Awesome. A miracle healer." I think that's meant to be thanks. It's thank you. Yes. Okay. And Leslie says, "Excellent stuff, guys. Thank you very much. Look forward to some of your transcendental blues, Ildiko." And Blair says, "Amen."
Thank you so much for your lovely comments. They really mean so much to me. So that's great. Thank you.
I want to say a huge, huge thank you to all of you who've been on the call this evening, and to Ildiko as well. Just very briefly to let you know that Dawn Cummins is going to be here next week, and she's sharing, I think it's more like a meditative exercise, 7 easy steps to open your awareness to your own angel. Now I know this very much has to do with health and well-being, because obviously that is the theme of all these programs. And so I'm really looking forward to that with Dawn next week. And so, oh, and at Ildiko, Janet says, a pleasure to listen to your interview. so
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet. So, folks, those of you, you get the replay email, you will find Ildiko's email address, Ildiko's websites. You'll find the email, the website address for Gift of Healing TV, so that you can check out what else is coming on, and you will find the link to next week's meditation with Dawn, which I am sure is going to be well worth being there for and experiencing. So please, folks, do sign up. Unfortunately, you do have to register for each program. I don't have the ability for you to register for one and automatically you get the links for all the others. I wish I did, but I don't. That's not how this technology appears to work at the moment. Thank you to all of you, to Ildiko, for being here. Have you only got anything final you would like to share with folks, Ildiko?
I just say to you that you know, just keep working on your stuff. We've had thousands of years of what I call a landfill site, you know, and we weren't encouraged to sort any of this stuff out. So whatever you're doing to be proactive with your healing is great. So just keep going with it. And obviously, if you want to talk to me more, find out more, you can email me, you can Facebook me. Most of you are on Facebook, and I'm more than delighted to share. Okay, thank you very much for being on this call. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ildiko. Thank you, folks. We will see you again next week. Love, peace, and light to you all. Namaste.